Thank you for joining me on the show today. This is the Now Talks, a collection of inspiring personal stories and leadership lessons from some of the world's most iconic leaders. It is the weekly podcast for women in leadership, brought to you by Nations of Women. My name is Dr. Tina Alton, and I'm your host for today and the coming weeks. Hello, and welcome back to the Now Woman Talks, which is the podcast for every woman in leadership. So today we're going to be talking about or focusing on breaking the mold, right? How we have to really redefine leadership as women and for us women. And so I hope you're going to come on this journey with me to challenge the traditional leadership stereotypes and delve into the many, many ways that women are leading and making their mark on this world. So I want us to, first of all, ask the question, what does leadership mean to you? What does leadership actually mean to you? And maybe many of us might picture boardrooms, suits, corporate hierarchies, et cetera, et cetera. However, the truth is leadership goes way, way, way beyond that. It's about influence. It's about inspiration. It's about decision making. And one of my mentors, John C. Maxwell, says that leadership is influence, and everything falls and everything rises and falls on leadership. And leadership is influence, nothing more, nothing less, right? So it's about shaping the direction, the vision of a group, of a people, of a community. It can be your family, it can be your community, it can be your company. But women have been redefining these roles and breaking the mold of what leadership looks like, proving it's not confined only to the corporate world, right? And how do I mean by that? So throughout history, women have led in numerous ways, often against tremendous odds. If you think about Harriet Tubman, for instance, she was born into slavery. She had not only secured her own freedom, but she also led hundreds of other slaves to freedom, via the Underground Railroad, right? Her leadership, her courage, even to this day continues to inspire us. And that's what we mean by leadership. It's about inspiring people. It's about influencing people. It's about making decisions. It's about taking risk, right? And we see that in the life of Harriet Tubman, even though this was many, many years ago, but still her courage, her tenacity, her grit, her determination, and really the decision she made, not just to free herself, but to free other people, to this day inspires us as well. So therefore, leadership is not just about making headlines or grand gestures, right? It's in the everyday actions that drive societal progress. Women's leadership plays a very crucial role in this. And there is actually a study that was done by the Pew Research Center, that women leaders are often perceived as more compassionate and empathetic, and their leadership often results in more inclusive decision making. This balance of being compassionate and yet having command is really vital to creating a society that really is fair, balanced, and what do you call it? Honoring for all of us. So I want us to, before I go any further, really just share with you our key focus areas for this podcast episode is looking at what does leadership mean in the everyday lives of women, looking at some, historical figures that have exemplified this concept, and really the importance of women's leadership in today's society. And then I'll give us some, summary and some key takeouts that I hope will be valuable to you. And so let's continue. I've already talked about what leadership means, and leadership is influence. It's nothing more, nothing less. and it's also about influencing, right? It's everything rises and falls on leadership. Leadership is about making decisions. It's about pushing forward. It's about leading your family, your community, your business. And we've looked at the fact that leadership actually transcends beyond the boardroom, or beyond having a pair of suits on, or beyond being in the corporate, what do they call it, corporate America, corporate UK, corporate Europe, corporate Africa, corporate wherever. It's way more than that. Leadership really is about shaping the direction and a vision of a people group. And so it's not just confined to that. And we've already looked at, Harriet Tubman and her tenacity, her choices, the decisions she made, and how that made a tremendous mark on the history of the world. And to this day, even, inspires us. And leadership is not also about making headlines or grand gestures. It's in the everyday actions, right? We've talked about that, the research by the Pew Research Foundation, that actually it's great for us as women to be in leadership positions, because we're much more inclusive, we're much more empathetic, because as women, we have that natural instinct to be empathetic towards somebody, to be compassionate in certain situations, because it's just naturally how our physiological makeup is, right? And so I want us to now, pause for a moment and think about your own leadership as a woman, right? How is that? Are you leading from a place of being really compassionate? Are you leading from a place of being empathetic? Are you leading from a place of recognizing that, you're shaping the vision of a people group? Are you leading from a place of recognizing that the decisions that you have to make has impact, not just for today, but tomorrow and the days ahead? And the decisions that you still do not make, right? Because it's not always about making decisions. I find that as women, when we're in leadership, oftentimes, and men as well, that we actually fail to make decisions. And so it's very, very important. In as much as we're talking about leadership is about making decisions, it's also important to know that whenever we fail to make a decision, that also has consequences. That also has an impact, not just today or tomorrow, but it can have impact on many generations to come. Right. And so the key takeouts I want to take away: leadership is not about title, it's not about position. It really is about being able to influence a direction, a vision, of a people group. It's being able to make decisions. As women, we have always, and we always will continue to be instrumental in societal progress and in various spheres of our world, as we continue to step into leadership roles and leadership positions, and really stepping up when that is required. We also want to look at the unique perspectives that we bring to the table as women. When we step into leadership roles, we contribute to a much more just and balanced society. I don't know how you have come into your role as a woman in leadership, or maybe perhaps you're, thinking, well, I don't have what it takes to be a leader. Can I just stop you for a moment? Can I just encourage you for a moment to recognize that as a woman, you bring something so unique to the table? And oftentimes, I think we hold out from stepping up or stepping into leadership positions, maybe because you stepped up once and you were shut down, or you were clamped on, or whatever the situation is. But that was then, and this is now. We're in a new dispensation of time in the history of our world, that we need you as women to step up, to step, all the way in getting yourself to the table. And so if you're thinking that, you don't have what it takes, I want to encourage you, and I want to remind you, you have absolutely everything that it takes in being able to lead, in being able to bring all that is in you to the table as a woman. You have everything that it requires to make great decisions, choices, and utilize those that are around you as well to be able to help you in your leadership, right? You want to be able to lean on those within your team. Don't underestimate anybody in your team. Don't presume, don't assume, but allow everybody in your team or around you the opportunity to also bring what it is that they have to the table. And often you'd find that you get great ideas, great inspiration, and solutions that is required. So I hope that this has been great for you today. But if you're still wondering, how are you going to do that? How are you going to step in? How are you going to manage the responsibilities? All of those things. I want you to know that you can. You very, very much can. You have everything it takes to make a great leader. And until you do something, nothing changes. So if you're seeing something going on in your community, in your company, in your society, that needs a solution, then bring what it is that is in you. Don't wait for somebody else. Step up, step whole in, and be a solution carrier. And if you do need help, you can always reach out to us, and we would be more than happy to, help you, to guide you, to signpost you, mentor you, whatever it is that you need to be effective and impactful in your leadership. So remember, leadership is not just confined to the corporate world. You can lead right from where you are. And you have been placed where you are for a reason and a purpose, and most importantly, for such a time as this. And remember that women play influential roles and have continued to all the way throughout history that has shaped who we are today, what our society is like today. And you matter. You have everything it takes to also be impactful in our world, not just for today, but for the days ahead. And remember that women's leadership is essential for the times in which we are, if we're going to progress and succeed together as a people group, as a society. Then we need you. We need you at the table. So until I come your way next time, tell us how this has impacted you. Tell us what propelled you to finally make that step. Tell us how your last meeting went. Tell us how you're feeling as a woman in leadership. Until we come your way next time, remember, you matter, you're needed, and you are here for a purpose. You have everything it takes, and you can do this. Take care. And that's all for this week. You've been listening to Dr. Tina Alton with the Now Talks, the weekly podcast for women in leadership, brought to you by Nations of Women. All that remains is for me to say, have a fantastic week, stay safe, and reach out if you need any help now at nationsofwomen.com. Until next time, enjoy the pursuit of your potential, and remember, now is your time.